Some of my biggest regretful purchases have either come from falling into the hype of a certain shoe, making an uninformed decision, whether it be sizing or whatnot, or getting lost into a trend that I think is going to be popular but really isn't in the end of the day. Let me know in the comments what some of your most regretful purchases are. I know there's a lot of you with some funny stories, so be sure to comment below. Shout out to Drew Joyner. I know he made a video about this recently, and when I saw it, I had to do my own version of it, so I'll leave a link to his channel in the description box below. Now, the first shoe that I regret buying is the Air Jordan 3 Black Cement. Now, the reason why I regret buying these is not because of what you guys probably think. I love this shoe. This is one of the best shoes of all time, but the reason why I regret buying it is because it is a full size too big. Now, I had the opportunity to buy this shoe for an absolute steal. Like, I'm talking like $150 gently used. A friend of mine was selling it, and I really wanted to buy them. But it was one of those purchases where I was convincing myself to buy it, even though I knew deep down that it wasn't going to work. Now, I've actually worn this shoe a ton, especially early on when I first got them, but they're not even close to fitting. So much so that I actually put this rubber heel slip in, but to be honest, it still hasn't worked out, and there's still a ton of room in the toe box. Now, what I should have bought instead was a shoe that actually fits, so that's why it's super important to go look at YouTube reviews or just any type of sneaker reviews in general to see how the sizing is. So for this next shoe, I need you guys to rewind the clock back to 2018 when the Nike Air Fear of God shoes were releasing. I wanted this shoe at the time so bad. It's a beautiful shoe. It's a great looking shoe. However, they struck out and they're very difficult to get. But at my local boutique, I got a notification that they were selling the Nike Air Fear of God moccasin in that pink colorway. And to be honest, this might be one of the ugliest shoes I have ever put on my feet. I mean, I tried to style these, and I really fell for the hype on these because I got that quick notification and I bought them with the quickness. Meanwhile, these things went straight to outlets pretty much, and in my opinion, it is just one of the worst looking shoes on feet. I'm a big fan of the whole Nike Air Fear of God series, except for these ones because the moccasins were trash. The next regretful purchase is this Nike Craft General Purpose shoe. If I'm being completely honest, I absolutely love this shoe. I really enjoy wearing this shoe, but some of the allegations for this guy was just really weird and off-putting, and I don't know how to feel about it, so for the time being, they're just going to stay in their box, and I got them for a good price, so I'm not down too much money, but ultimately, it just feels weird wearing them. Now, a similar vibe to the Nike Craft General Purpose shoe would be the Pillar Court 2. Collegium is like an independent brand that makes a lot of similar versions to famous sneakers, and I think this is one of the best versions of that for sure. The next regretful sneaker purchase is the Nike Dunka in this dark russet colorway. I bought these during this moment in my life where I was obsessed with wearing the color brown. Like, all of my shoes had to be brown. I was wearing matching brown on brown, and it just, I look back on it and I kind of cringe, but it was just one of these things where I really did just like get caught up in this trend of like, you know, earth tones and brown, and that's still something I wear today. Regardless, this shoe is extremely difficult to rock. This rust color, I don't know what it is. There's just not a lot of my wardrobe that goes with it. So I've just been hanging on to them, and maybe one day my thoughts on it will change. Now, a brown shoe that I wear all the time is the Air Force One Premium. This color blocking just works a little bit better in terms of outfits. And when it's fall time and I'm actually wearing this shoe, going with leather is a much more safer option than going with suede. And it doesn't have that rust color. So this one is ultimately just way more wearable in my opinion. Okay, I want to mix in a couple clothing purchases as well. I don't know if you guys remember when the Uniqlo Cause stuff was releasing. I bought this t-shirt right here, and you know what, there's some fun colors on it, but at the end of the day, it's like a t-shirt with Bert and Ernie on it, and it's just wearing it nowadays, especially after all of these years, it's just like kind of weird. And I look back and I'm like, why did I buy that? That was one of those definite times where I fell into the hype of this collaboration that was coming out. The other one is this OVO hoodie that I bought in this super loud black and white camo print with the gold owl on the top. OVO as a brand is just one of these things where if Drake was removed from it, I don't think I would wear it. A lot of their designs are very repetitive, and I find a lot of their collaborations to be kind of lazy, to be honest. But for this hoodie, I'm going to hang on to it. It was featured in my first ever YouTube video. It was a gift that I got for Christmas, and who knows, maybe my style will change and one day I'll end up wearing it, but for the time being, it's going to stay in storage because this just doesn't represent like my current aesthetic. Now, what I would recommend buying instead is buying a graphic tee with stuff that you're actually interested in. You know, I have no affinity towards Sesame Street, to be honest. I don't even really remember enjoying it that much growing up. So I definitely wouldn't go with something like that, or go with something that's just a lot more simpler and aesthetic. This way, it never really goes out of style. The next shoe that I want to talk about is the Air Jordan 1 Pollen. When I bought these, I genuinely thought that the color yellow was going to be the next it color because the Lightning 4s were releasing at the time. And it was just one of these things where it's like, I think this is going to happen, but I was obviously wrong. Yellow in general is a very difficult color to rock. But one thing I will say is I like these shoes. I like the color blocking of them. When I wear them with jeans, they look good with the right pair of jeans and just a casual t-shirt. So I actually like this shoe, and that's why I haven't gotten rid of them. What I would recommend instead of the Air Jordan 1 Pollen would be something like the Air Jordan 1 Washed Gray. Just a very simple color blocking, very similar as well. And ultimately, it's just a shoe that you're going to get a lot more wear out of because that gray and the white with that beige midsole will go with a lot more of your wardrobe. And yellow, like I said, is just one of those tricky colors to rock. Another really regretful one for me is the Foam Runner in the ochre colorway. For me, Foam Runners was just a shoe that I tried to make work. I made a styling video on them, and I genuinely enjoyed making that styling video because it was a challenge for me. But I did not step out of the house with this shoe once because it just doesn't work on my feet. I just didn't like how they looked. It just doesn't look good with a pair of jeans for me. So maybe in the summertime you can rock them, but when I got them in January, it's like I don't want to hold on to these until the summertime. So I got rid of them quickly, and I actually gave them away. So hopefully they're at a better home now to the person that won that giveaway during my sneaker collection video. Now, instead of Foam Runners, what I would recommend would have been to get a normal pair of slides, something like the Adilet 22. Still has like a unique look to it, but it's just more wearable and is equally as comfortable.